We're in Copenhagen at DTW23. I'm here with Amol Phadke. He is the CTO at Telenor. Amol, thanks so much for joining us. Great to see you. And great to see you just a few weeks into your new role at Telenor. Now, you're the CTO there. Can you tell us about your role? Because not every CTO has the exact same job description.
First of all, Ray, thank you for having me. It is great to be here at DTW. As you said, 2.5 weeks into my role at Telenor, it is quite a unique group CTO role. I have essentially 4 pillars encompassing this role. The first very important pillar is partnerships, and we'll talk about how important they are for the telco. Then there is, of course, the procurement aspect of the group. Then there is the technology strategy part of the group. And then there is a combination of security as well as research and innovation. So if you look at these, it is quite a unique role that is really looking after these functions on behalf of the group. So I'm very excited with the opportunity to try and drive impact across all of this.
Okay. So that means you've got an awful lot to think about in terms of those different pillars. What would you say are the biggest sort of technical or network challenges facing telecom operators like Telenor right now?
A couple of things, Ray. This is a fantastic question. If you look at Telenor, it is such an interesting telecom operator with market-leading positions in 2 fundamentally different markets, Asia and Nordics. And so when you look at those 2 markets, the adoption of technology is at very different levels in those 2 markets. Right? And also external factors and demographics and demands are totally different. So the first real challenge is, can you create a standardized technology blueprint, architecture, implementation across these varying markets to really drive the synergies that technology can provide? So that's like the number 1 challenge, obviously. The second challenge is, how do you pivot to being an AI first or a cloud first telco across these varying markets with different levels of maturity? And that becomes a fundamental challenge, not just for me, but any group CTO at this point, as to how we adopt this technology. And I'm sure you've been hearing about that in the last few days at this event.
So linked to that, of course, and you mentioned earlier on that the relationships, industry relationships is one of the pillars. With this increasing reliance on extracting information and intelligence from data and the use of AI, relationships with the hyperscalers, the public cloud giants, is becoming increasingly important for telcos. What's Telenor's relationship with these kind of organizations? And of course, you have joined from Telenor, from one of these companies. So what is the relationship there? How are you working? How's Telenor working with the hyperscalers?
So as an industry, we've actually come a lot more forward in terms of embracing what's happening in the AI and the cloud world. So in that context, Telenor actually has been great at creating very large structural strategic partnerships with pretty much all of those hyperscalers, including the one that I came from. And from my perspective, these partnerships are not just about let's get everything that we have on cloud. It's actually about, can we really drive growth for the industry using cloud as an enabler? So it is very important to keep thinking of cloud and AI as the critical enablers that ultimately are going to do 3 things for a company like Telenor. Drive efficiency, create a very different business model, what I mean by efficiency, create new sources of growth, and the third most important thing that this event is all about is, can we get our customer experience reinvented using some of the tools and techniques that come by that cloud native mindset and that AI mindset. So those are really the 3 things on which these partnerships are built. And then of course, we do this with pretty much all of them because we want to be the forward-leaning operator that can adopt some of these.
Sort of working out what to do, strategically, not only with the partners, but within Telenor, that's not something that any single company can do by itself. And we've heard over the past couple of days how the kind of the work done by the TM Forum, actually, the organizer of this event, how that's impacting what some of the operators are doing. How important is that kind of work, like the development of the ODA processes and projects that the TM Forum has?
Fantastic question. First of all, TM Forum is a critical linchpin when it comes to standardization. As I said at the beginning, a lot of these technologies are so new that there are various interpretations already in the market about how to adopt and implement those. I have been fortunate to be on the board of TM Forum, and so one of the things we discussed as a board at the start of this event this week was, can we be taking that leap to help the industry standardize, just like we did with ODA for some of the digitization of architectures? Can we do the same with AI? Can we do the same with some of the new cloud technologies coming through? Because then that really will give TM Forum the chance to be the orchestrator of the industry and create that standardization needed to bring the rest of the community together. So these organizations, TM Forum is just one of them, there's many others, are an absolute vital component of this puzzle, and we really need their help to solve this.
In that respect, I mean, the TM Forum's been around for a very long time, and it's had sort of blueprints and guidance, but these days it seems to be doing sort of more tangible things, like the development of open APIs that can now be downloaded and used. How important is taking that next step for these organizations to be able to actually offering something that can be used, not just an idea? Is that critical to how important they are?
Super critical. That's why we launched this innovation hub yesterday that you probably saw. So we were seeing that a lot of interest is coming on entirely new technologies, which is why the Catalyst program, which is really an experimentation prototype, has been so successful and doubled in size. However, we need the next stage, that once a Catalyst is actually proven to be very successful as a prototype, can I actually take it in a captive environment and build a pilot on it? And this is why having an innovation hub that is organized by the forum is a critical component, because to your point, we can actually try these and create first instances of these, which then make it easier to adopt, so that the wider telco industry doesn't have to start from scratch every time there is a new thing that they have to do.
Delivering useful, tangible results out of the time and effort put in. Okay. So there's that, and you already mentioned AI, and of course that's been all over every discussion here, but any other key takeaways from the conversations you've had here in the past couple of days? Any new trends you're seeing at all out of this show?
I think one of the things that I have seen is this acceptance of ecosystem. And what I mean by that is the relationships that telcos have had with suppliers and partners for a lot of time has been transactional. We sort of look at it as a commercial or a procurement exercise. And I am heartened to see that there is this realization that actually it needs to be more of a risk-reward strategic partnerships, where you're actually adding value to the end customers. And then through that, you will of course have any other value-driven conversations, but primarily it is about helping or adding value to the customers. And I think that it is heartening to see that most partners and telcos are sort of coming together and saying, clearly, this is not something I can do on my own, and I need help and the innovation coming from everybody else in order for me to do that.
Hearing a lot of that from the companies here as well, so it's clearly resonating with everybody in the ecosystem. Amol, thanks for spending time with us. I know you've had a very full diary here. Great to talk to you, and look forward to chatting with you again soon, maybe 3 months into your role.
Absolutely, I look forward to it, Ray, and thank you for having me.